Hey everyone, Mark Fulmer, TrackTik's Vice President of Security Industry, joined today by Brad Gordon. Brad, how you doing today?
Good to see you,
Good.
Mark.
I'll let you introduce yourself, Brad.
Brad Gordon, CEO of Viewpoint.
Fantastic. Brad and I sit together in the Security Service Council and have been working together on different security service issues over the years, and he's agreed to do a little video for us today where we're talking about the business that he does and the impact that you have within the security industry. And tell me a little bit about Viewpoint, how it came about, and why you started it 16 years ago.
Sure. Like you said, it was 16 years ago. It was came about kind of as a result of 9/11 happening, but it was really an effort to find an alternative to security guards. 9/11 had just happened. I had sold a company a year earlier and was looking for something to do, and after 9/11 I was really focused on security. And on paper I have a good looking resume for security, even though at the time I knew nothing about it.
We won't talk about Brad's background, but it is a good resume.
Okay. So I looked at security guard companies and wasn't really impressed with what I saw. And of course, these were smaller regional or local security guard companies. And then I started speaking to security guard users, and I heard similar complaints and comments. And my earlier career had been in property management, and we utilized security officers frequently and had issues with them all the time. So, showing up and the way they interacted with our customers and following instructions, basic things. So I spent about a year figuring out, or trying to figure out, is there a way to come up with an alternative to security guards that would address these measures while still providing excellent security.
Interesting, and I mean that's something that we see all the time, right? In terms of having a security company, be more efficient, offer better service, drive accountability, reliability, and transparency. So that's great. And you see technology as replacing kind of security officers and or enhancing it, and has your view changed kind of over time?
It has. When I started Viewpoint, my mission was to replace security officers, and by using technology, which we can do, and we frequently accomplish that. But I've learned over the years that really the best security that money can buy, for a reasonable price, is having this blended solution, which we call eyes in the sky, boots on the ground. Because there's some things that you can do extremely well with technology. For example, the example I always like to use is watching a very large perimeter. So yesterday here at the show, I met with a very large, very well-known international car manufacturer, and they have hundreds of acres of fence line. So you would have to deploy a small platoon of security officers to truly, to not cross your fingers, to really cover it.
To hope for the best.
You need dozens of officers, whereas we can deploy infrared cameras that can see perfectly in complete darkness, 400 yards each, and we can cover that fence line. And if anyone,
rain or shine, right? Snow or sleet.
And if it goes down, we get notified that it goes down, and we can get it fixed immediately.
And you can send that security officer to go respond to that, right?
Meanwhile, the security officer, like you said, can patrol the offices, watch the front gate, process visitors. That's something that can't be replaced with technology. Certainly not as well. Whereas watching a large perimeter or many other functions, you can do extremely well with technology.
So well said. So when we first started, you were talking about speaking to end users, so speaking to corporate security managers. Has that changed? I didn't want to use the word evolve, but has that really changed kind of over time, and what they're looking for, maybe from the data point of view, or how they're being measured and so on?
So yes to all of those things. Originally the challenge was simply getting them to buy into the idea that you could use technology to provide real security. People understood, I think, just intrinsically that you could use a camera as a forensic tool, but people didn't really buy into the idea that you could use a camera as a proactive, preventative tool, because traditionally they weren't. They recorded the bad activity and then you'd go back the next day and find it. So I'm jumping back a little bit to the genesis of Viewpoint. The solution I came up with to actually replace people was voice voice technology. We actually invented and pioneered the ability to speak from our monitoring center in Boston.
And actually respond to a situation.
Yes, and we can speak from every camera that we watch. Now that technology is ubiquitous, 16 years ago we had to invent it, especially the idea of being able to speak from individual channels. So we wouldn't have to speak from every camera around a campus. We could just speak to, you
that
you
very
and
specific incident.
you, relatively tall guy in the white shirt, please be advised, this is security, you have to leave. And that voice gave a physical presence, which is the one selling point security guards always had against us.
The anticipated response, something.
You still have that security officer in a uniform walking around, which is a deterrent, but our voice coming out of the sky, speaking directly to you, is a very powerful physical deterrent.
Yeah, so changing expectations.
So demonstrating that to security directors and chief security officers was very powerful for us, but the evolution really started with the advent of video analytics that work, and which is kind of a precursor to artificial intelligence, which we're all talking about and playing with today.
Yeah. Using the machine learning to really kind of be able to push that a little bit.
So a big, my whole goal in using technology to do the job of some security officer functions was that we could remove the human element. So you get rid of that, I didn't understand or I forgot, and the advent of powerful analytics that work, that are affordable, made that happen, because the analytics are, with certain rules, are fail-safe.
Yeah, and then equipping the security officer with the tools they need, backed up with the technology that they need to kind of keep going through that.
Exactly, so that takes me back to your evolution question. We started out as a way to replace security officers. We evolved into eyes in the sky, boots on the ground. The idea being,
respond to actual exceptions, respond to incidents.
We can turn the security officers into super guards. With us watching the big picture, the entire campus or facility, we can tell the security officer, we need you here, we need you there. Instead of just patrolling or randomly hoping they stumble across something, we move them where we need to move them, and then we can speak using our technology into that situation to add some backup or protection. So,
solving actual issues, right? It's tough to hire, it's tough to recruit, it's tough to train, it's tough to retain as well.
Exactly.
Brad, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
So signing off from GSX19. Great session for the Industry Influencer Series with Brad Gordon from Viewpoint Monitoring, really helping security operations build better operations and run smarter businesses, ultimately deliver security solutions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.